Good afternoon and welcome to episode 121 of JLC TV. Today is Wednesday, which means it's one thing. It's Operational Wednesdays with me, Luke Murray, and I'm joined today by
Mandy Hill from Finance.
So Jack is really busy today, so Mandy has kindly volunteered to step in for us as the quiz master, and also to bounce some questions off and lead some questions about the operation for me today. So yeah, Mandy, if you'd like to start us off.
Are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
Random question.
So yeah, what is the operational question to start us off this week?
So how will you ensure the company culture and workflow remain intact during the office move?
So I think we're going to be pretty much keeping the same people we've got now. If we move to Portishead or somewhere in the close vicinity, I've been told that a lot of people will still be with JLC, so I don't think the culture will change too much, to be honest with you, because we're going to be having pretty much the same people.
I'm sure it's a meeting.
It's live.
Oh, it's live. Can we go back this way then?
Well, not right, I can cut that. Yeah, so we're going to be taking the same people, and we're not going to be just like growing massively from like where we're at now into going into the new place. It will take obviously the next sort of couple of years. We'll gradually be building and bringing more people in. So yeah, I think we'll be keeping exactly the same people and just be adding to it gradually as we go bigger. So yeah, I don't think the move in itself will change the culture. I think it'll probably give people a boost more than anything. Don't you think?
It will. Yeah, I think it will. I think the fact that we're going to bigger premises, it means we're expanding, we're getting bigger, more people.
I think Mandy's been here for how many years?
7 years this year.
So from your point of view, you can see like we're leveling up
Huge
over these
change.
years. So
There was about 7 people when I started, and we're in the 40s now. So.
and how would you? Well, Mandy's probably a good person to ask as well. So with the culture, obviously, it's changed as you get more people, as we've discussed. Me and Mandy have to put a lot of new processes in for like HR, like monitoring sickness, payments and stuff, because it gets more and more, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the more people we take on, the more you have to do, and the more we have to be on the ball. So you've probably seen that right from the beginning, haven't you? So
payroll took me 10 minutes. That takes me about hours.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, you're probably best judged to say that. How many people were here when you started?
7, including me.
And now we've got 50 with BV. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Yeah,
but good. We're expanding. That's great.
Yeah, so positive for everybody. I think the culture will remain the same, and I think people will be even more excited to come to work and grow with the business. So yeah, next one.
Okay.
Wait, on that, is there any other things in Portishead that would make it a nice place to work, or in your opinion?
Well, I started in Portishead. When I first started with the company, we were in Portishead, so we moved because we outgrew where we were to come here, gain more people, and now we're going back with a bigger premises again. So
with more people.
With more and more people.
Cool, perfect. Okay, next question.
Okay, and the next one, random question is, this is a good one. What's the biggest crisis in the company has faced internally, and how did you handle it?
I think I know what everyone wants me to say about it. So I'll answer that as one serious one and one joke one. So the most serious one, I would say, that's actually caused operational issues is when we have DocuWare go down, which is our processing system. So the old way was to add orders manually, and when we have to try and keep up with the speed that we process with DocuWare now, it takes like 3 or 4 people to do that, and it gets really confusing because people are at different stages, and it causes a lot of confusion. So I would say, the biggest operational issue is when we have DocuWare goes down. Luckily, it's not too often, it may be 2 or 3 times a year, but it does really affect us. It slows up the business, and I'd say that's probably the biggest crisis we have. So it's not, it's recoverable. We always have a plan. It's normally offline for maybe 2 or 3 hours at a time when it is down.
I was going to say it's not days, is it? It's short spells, but
short.
It does have a massive impact because of it, like you say, that's what runs the business to get the orders in. So
everything we report, so our reporting, our numbers, our turnover, our profit comes from the report that populates. So that's a real big issue when that goes down. But when it does come back on, we already like pre-plan for it, and we can just get people like in place when we know we're behind. So I would say that's the biggest crisis in terms of like professionally speaking. We have had some little crises.
We have.
I think the one that I think that everybody probably wants to hear about is Chipgate, the Chipgate scandal that we had. So these are the kind of little squabbles that sometimes happen in businesses, and the gist of this was, I'm not going to name any names, but one person went out for lunch one day and kindly said, "Does anybody want anything from the chip shop?" And just went around asking the sort of few close people that she normally talks with, the friends, and went off and got the chips or whatever. So when that person came back, there was an office or an area of the business that got a little bit offended that they weren't offered any chips. They thought it was a company-wide lunch, and they weren't invited, and there was a big squabble about not being invited for chips, and then the person who originally went to get the chips actually went back out to get the people that felt left out that didn't get any chips, and it was just completely blown out of proportion. We call it Chipgate here at JLC, and it's quite a funny thing to look back on, a little bit of a squabble, but yeah, all completely blown out of proportion, but yeah, quite funny to look back on it.
And to be fair, when that person came back with the chips, people didn't want them then, because they'd taken offence, so it was...
How rude.
Yeah, it just got very out of hand.
So yeah, there's some...
But laughable now.
Yeah, laughable now, and we do have some silly squabbles like all businesses do. There's some crazy things that do happen that get blown out of proportion, but yeah, it's what happens, isn't it? So yeah, moving swiftly on.
Yeah, moving swiftly on to the next question, which is, what's the one thing about this business operates that outsiders would be shocked to know?
God, I've got to be careful what I say on camera there, actually. Without getting into loads of this, it's quite relaxed here, isn't it?
It's very relaxed, yes.
With certain
we're
things.
treated very well.
Yeah, so to put that into perspective, like in say a corporate company, there's lots of rules and regulations and red tape. Here, you can kind of pretty much do what you want loosely, as long as the work gets done. So
we do get treated well. We get spoilt with company breakfasts. That's quite a common one. We've had quite a few company nights out, obviously, but the company breakfast is a nice little perk that is a treat for everybody.
Yeah, there's things like that, but in terms of what people can do and allow to, it's pretty relaxed. As I said, as long as people do the work and they turn up on time and they do what is required of them, then yeah, we are quite relaxed in what people can do in work, and I'd probably say
we have a lot of fun, but we do get the job done as well. So.
Yeah, a lot of fun, and obviously James is so generous that like the Vegas trips that we do, and they are really fun. Again, I can't really go into too much detail, but yeah, always a great laugh, and just like the staff.
We went to Marbella once.
Yeah,
and you took everybody at the time. It was a bit smaller, not massively smaller, but you took everybody to Marbella, which was lovely for a long weekend. So that was nice.
And the staff parties we have, like with awards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, everyone's treated really well. So yeah.
Quite spoiled, really, aren't we?
Yeah, very spoiled. Yeah, very spoiled. But I said a lot of the guys work really hard, and I said you get what you put in. So yeah, I'd probably say that.
Okay.
Next one.
Okay. What's the wildest excuse an employee has ever given for missing work? Ooh.
Maybe not at JLC. I've just got this guy that I used to work with, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and he always used to not turn up because of his dog. His dog had some kind of like illness, like lost an eye, had this and that, needed stitches, lost a leg, and it just became a running joke within the management that this guy's dog had like literally like 9 lives. And honestly, he had a bad attendance record, and he would always call up and say his dog had a new kind of disease or illness.
Oh, wow.
And he had a lot of time off for that. So yeah, I'd probably say this guy's dog, who had like 9 lives, is probably the craziest.
Exactly.
What have you heard? Because obviously you hear quite a bit with things like.
Here has been really good, to be fair.
Yeah.
People don't tend to just go, "Oh, I'm not coming in because." What have I had in the past? Sort of random people that have had multiple grandmas. I've had a few of those, and we've thought, okay, you've had already 2 of those. How many grandmas have you got?
So that's a good one then.
So,
someone's been caught out there by doing that.
But not here.
I think you get some people that have a bad attendance and they're pretty switched on, they don't keep using the same excuse. Like if someone's used the grandma excuse, you'd like to think they're not going to use that one again. But sometimes people have, like, again, not maybe like with the dog thing, people have different illnesses, or like the cat's died, then their uncle's died, and then they just don't come in, and then there's different reasons. And some of the times it's legitimate, but someone who's like off, like tries to be off multiple times and has all these excuses, you're like, they've got some kind of, they've got a playbook.
You do sort of.
They're going through it,
You
around.
know underneath, but you can't say.
Yeah, we have our suspicions. And me and Mandy work really closely on that, because Mandy deals with the payroll, so I have to make sure anything that's that happens where people aren't in, whether it's paid or unpaid leave, I have to make sure I'm updating the calendar and communicating with Mandy with that. So yeah, we've got our work cut out with that sometimes.
We have
all the different reasonings we
yeah.
get here. So
But
yeah.
on the whole, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
another
next.
one.
How many have we got left?
This is the final question
Final
for today.
question, okay.
So, this is one for each of us. Okay, so if you could change one thing about how sales and operations work together, what would it be? So I'm going to say for me, communication, because I'm in an office that's quite small and it's just finance and HR really, it's a small office, we don't get to hear everything that's going on, and we do need to know on a lot of occasions. So for me, communication is probably my biggest thing.
Yeah, that's a big one, and I said, with where we're going as a company, like, we can always improve with communication, like sales, ops, between different departments. There's so many people that are responsible for different things now. Like there's things that sometimes do get missed, and we know there's, like, we're always trying to put in processes like how can we communicate more effectively, like what channels do we need to use so everyone knows. There's so many different people involved now. So yeah, that, I think that's a
because
good
we
one.
are getting bigger, and obviously the bigger you get.
Yeah, that's true. And me and Mandy, we were actually saying the other day, because obviously I do an ops meeting on every Monday to speak to my team about big changes coming in the business. Like,
and I don't do that one anymore. I go to the finance one.
That's it, Mandy's in the finance one, so I don't have to remember to update Mandy. But then there's also things that like sales might do, and obviously I have a meeting with Ricky like once a month, but then it's not to everybody. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that we can work it, and you tell certain people and expect them to pass it on, but sometimes they might not.
They don't know. I'm lucky because I'm in with you, so I know the communication.
Yeah,
with
you just have to
don't
ask. Yeah. So that's
not
good.
so bad.
But overall, between sales and ops, I think I've said this on JLC TV before. The sales team here are really, really good, and they're actually really respectful, because
They are,
when I've worked in places with sales before, they literally promise a lot without even asking operations if it's possible. Just an example, when I worked in previous places, they would want to bring new customers on, and they would promise, say, a certain schedule that the operation could do. They wouldn't even ask us, and then they would say, yeah, the operation can do that, and we hadn't, and we might have been, say, like, really busy or not had the resource for that, and they would have agreed to it without even asking us. Whereas the sales guys here, like, if there's something big, they'll give me a call, they'll come down and
I can
ask.
say they come down, they go out and ask, don't they? They're very good.
Yeah, they
do
say if it's something new or different, they come down and they say, right, Luke, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, finance, can we do this? Or whether it's a new customer, and yeah, they're really good, and we can normally just have that, like, dialogue and it not get confrontational, and yeah, we just fix the problem. But the good thing is, as Mandy alluded to, we've got a lot of people, everyone here is like pulls in the same direction, so obviously while everyone like selfishly wants to do well for their department, a lot of the time people will realise the bigger picture, that sometimes, yeah, I might have to sacrifice what I'm doing in my department for like the bigger goal of the company, and I think, yeah, sales and ops both get that really well. So
yeah, they do. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so that's all the questions for this week. If you, the viewers, have got any questions as well, so we do come up with these questions internally. If you, the viewers, have got any questions you really want to ask for me and Jack on next week's episode, anything you want to ask Mandy, then yeah, drop it in the comment section and we will look to answer that next week. Have a great afternoon.